we'll work this backwards to what we'd planned, but I'm sure it will work just as well, because life's like that sometimes. I'll just briefly introduce myself. I'm Natalie Denmeade and I live in New South Wales, Australia, and work for a technical college, TAFE, which is vocational education and training. We do lots of trades and business studies. And once my screen loads, I've got a slide to show you that we cover half of New South Wales from north of Sydney up to the Queensland border. Moodle is my love child of my passion for IT and education and people. I spend about 10 hours of my week teaching web technologies and digital media and IT, and the rest of the time I work for the strategy and support unit as a Moodle administrator and Adobe and learning technologies. The role that I've played in this project is quite the reverse of what I normally do. I've got to be the demanding customer who changes her mind constantly, which I think is karma, because now I know how it feels to be on the other side. And Renee works for TAFE at the state level rather than one of the 11 institutes that I come from, and she's the lead designer for TAFE eHub, and I approached her at a few months ago and asked for her advice on a theme, and that's when she told me that she was working on this Quicksilver theme. And I've been working with her and her team since then as a tester and a user who's articulate in what we need. Can anybody see the presentations yet? I'm getting a page loading and I can't see them. If somebody can let me know, can you see the presentations? Renee, you're here. Is that Renee Lance I saw typing?
Hello everyone. Okay.
Welcome, just in time. I just introduced myself and had I can hear you fine. So if you would like to start speaking, and I'll just type. You must be able to hear me now because you just asked.
Okay, cool. And I'll
stop moving things around the screen.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, okay. I'll stop.
That's okay. So let's go back. Alrighty. Okay. Alright, hi everybody. My name's Renee Lance and I'm from the TAFE New South Wales e-learning hub. And what we're going to be talking to you about today, Natalie and I, is about managing multiple Moodle themes. So just to carry on, I met Natalie out of sheer coincidence when she called me up wanting some advice and asked her if she'd be interested in helping us out in trialling a new Moodle theme we decided to develop because we had many multiple themes for our e-communities site, which we have in the TAFE New South Wales as a collaboration site. And it was becoming a bit of a nightmare every time we wanted a request to make some changes, customize this, add in some little things that really we felt should be part of a standard interface. When you look at a lot of websites, they have a lot of standard sort of elements in the header and the footer and things like that. So just getting on to, I guess, about who we are, just so you understand the context of its purpose and why we wanted to develop this new theme. And I'll explain a little bit about the theme just before I go on. It's a configurable theme, so this theme, basically you can sort of create your design, change your layout, add in some custom elements, all from the settings page. And we've been able, it's a work in progress, we're sort of getting ready for a beta release soon in June. but it's so that you can use one theme for multiple courses, and you can set admin permissions for course editors to only specify the sorts of things that they want to change. Okay, so just talking about who we are. This at the moment, there's about 10 institutes in TAFE New South Wales. Well, there are 10 institutes. And there's 4 TAFE support units. Now, each institute has its own way of business model, way of developing, way of planning. And some institutes have a centralised approach to their LMSs. Others have allowed the teachers or course editors to create their own sorts of sites, depending on their needs. This is what we're sort of trying to do. So whether we're doing this throughout TAFE as a whole, or whether it enables institutes to do this within their own institute, is to perhaps give them the option, if they want to have a more centralised approach, that at least this is an easier way to manage that. So the background of where we come in is, like, we started off developing an e-community site, and it's a collaborative site for teachers to collaborate on e-learning within TAFE New South Wales. Now, when we started off with 12 themes, because we wanted different colours for the different categories, different sections, and just because of banner sizes meant that we had to create another 4 themes just to change the banner size for the graphics from the forums, as opposed to the topics, which had a slightly different banner size. So you can imagine all the folders that were involved, and also when you make customizations like we were making in the programming side, there was quite a lot of, well, where did we make that change? We had to log changes. Where did we put this bit? And did you override this element that we've changed the search, and all these sort of things. So there are a lot of things that were easily overridden if you didn't keep a very detailed log of what you were doing. So we started off with 12. We were able to consolidate it down to about 7, and that was through some clever programming from our very industrious programmer, Glenn. And what he did was, we ended up having one main folder where we had all the main styling and programming elements. And then from what we did was, from what changed theme to theme, say it might be just a slight colour difference in the heading styles, we separated those out into different style sheets so that we could sort of maintain it a little easier. And then we had some projects that we knew were going to be coming in, and they were quite big projects. The department's working on a higher ed degrees, and they want to convert them to online courses as well. So therefore, the need for something that was a lot more simpler than manually having to update and change things in multiple folders was becoming of a greater need. So the configurable theme that we're developing, and you notice I haven't been giving it a name yet, because we're going to launch the name at the Moodle Moot, so we're waiting till then. So this is a prelim. So you guys are getting a sticky beak at what we're doing for Moodle Moot. So we changed it to hopefully one folder. This new theme, what we did when we decided we wanted to do it, I said I had a wish list. So I had, okay, I want to be able to select the skin, perhaps change the colour palette. As being a designer myself, it was really, really important that I decide what the background patterns and design elements would be based on my branding for which organisation I belong to. The visual communication side to institutes is really, really important, and not just to their institute as a whole, but they have very specific industry areas, and although nearly in every institute from what I've seen has a specific sort of design or visual communication around that industry area that they want to help the users, so the users can easily identify where they are and where they belong to. So I thought, well, if we're going to do colour changes and custom designs, let's allow them to change the width, change the columns. The banner height can be defined by graphics being uploaded to the height that you specify on your graphic. And Natalie said, can we move the breadcrumb or can we move the global nav? So we added that in as well. And the layout of the block. So there was a few key areas that were really important to us. So design, layout, and also the administration side. So being able to customize specific elements at a course or category level. So this is our e-community site, and you can see this is where I started getting this idea that, you know, okay, we're starting to get quite a few themes. We had 4 colours. But then we had 8 themes for just those e-learning areas. And then our learning designers wanted to add some more areas like the hubs and the industry and the collaborations area, TAFE Connect. So we ended up having about 12 themes. So for us, visually communicating to the users these different categories was important. So this is what the Flexi theme does. I thought this was a bit of, this is why we wanted to create the theme. And there were a couple of key things that were really important to me where I think we should have this in it, we should have that. That should be a standard, because what I found was talking to institutes and looking at the way they developed their courses and the interfaces for the courses, because this is really what we're designing here, is the interface for the course. There are a lot of things that you look on standard websites and they're part of the communication of their courses, you know, like links and graphics to custom elements in the header and the footer and things like that. That's their generic visual communication sort of material stuff. So I decided, you know, custom should be part of the standard. Create and implement modular design and development wherever possible. So with this configurable theme, it sort of allows users to do that, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. Layout and basic design should all be managed within one theme. This is my philosophy. It makes it so much easier and less time consuming if you are able to do that. E-learning should look visually appealing and engaging to the user. So e-learning, when you're developing your e-learning content as a visual person, as a designer, as a teacher, having context sometimes around the e-learning is just as important as the e-learning material. E-learning should include visual communication for usability. Design should enhance content and not detract. So sometimes it's like it's so easily to go to town on your graphics and your design elements, but to not over-design, and it's working out that finer balance of, you know, what has a background in it, what doesn't have a background in it, how subtle do you make the background to just lift out the content from your, you know, for example, in the main area of your page, you could have just a pale grey, and that's what we did with e-communities, so that the topics we made had a white background, so they lifted off. And it just gives it a little bit more emphasis. Users should not have to log a help desk request for reasonable design changes. Now, anyone who works in a large organisation, especially if you work in the Department of Education, is sometimes really difficult. Some institutes have easy access. Some institutes have no access to the back end at all. So I believe that being able to modify your design from a front end was really essential. And just another little bit on the end of that is, when they say it can't be done, find a way, and preferably not in the back end. I mean, there's always ways to do things in the front end as much as you can. Now, I'm going to just share my screen with you because I'm going to give you a demo, which is probably what you're all very keen about. Let me just open up this. Okay. Now, hopefully, I've logged into everything, so hopefully it's all going to work. Oh, here we go. Desktop share. Okie dokie. So you can all see my desktop now. You can see me trying to get in. Okay. So this is our Flex theme site. I'll just go into the first page so you can see what we've been doing. So this is just, this is in development mode still. We're still developing it. We have a 30th of June deadline, so we're hoping to get the beta out for then. So what we're doing is, I'll just show you. I'll go into the settings page. So I'll go through and give you a demo just so you can see what we're doing with this theme and how it works. Now, the settings page is coming up. Great, so everyone can see that. Fantastic. Okay, so this is the settings page. Now, just guys, while you're looking at it, fix that in your memory. Do a screenshot in your memory of what this design looks like. So we're going to go into the settings page. And the first thing I'm going to do is change the background colours and put in a background graphic. So I'm going to set my background colours. And you can see here we've got a suite of colours here that you can choose from. We're still trying to work out the rules on how these colours apply. It's really tricky to try and get the right colour combinations with the right amount of hues and things like that. And then what we need to do is we then need to reword everything on this settings page so it makes sense to the users, because at the moment it's in a programming sort of understanding. Okay, so we'll choose a monochromatic colour. So the dark primary. So what you do, you change, and we have to reorder this around. I think what you'll do is you change your colour variety, and that colour variety will probably be called like a skin. And then you can choose your palette shadings from then. So, okay, so I'll save it and just show you what's happening now. And it's just loading. Once we've gone through the demo, I'll then just sort of show you what else we've included with the theme as little extras in terms of the content side with little widgets we've been creating. Okay. You have to excuse it, it's a bit slow. I should put some mood music on for everybody. Okay, now I noticed some comments there. Just let me have a look at where you... Okay. Sorry guys, it's just really, really slow on the Wi-Fi here. Might be Christmas by the time it actually happens. Let me shut some of these windows. Okay, might go to sleep. So let me just go back into Adobe Connect. So while that's loading, it's a bit slow because it's on the Wi-Fi. Okay, so After some colour themes, not just in. Yeah, well, we have, what we'll have is, Julian's just asking about offering colour schemes, not just individual colour selections. We will have a default palette, and that's what we're sort of trying to work on at the moment. Okay, so let's just go back to our page. Yeah, and that was the hard thing, because as a designer trying to design, I was using it a way that I wanted to be flexible with the design, but also setting colour palettes so that it enables users to be able to create their own designs, but also have something that's standard as well. Now, you didn't see that colour change, so I just realised the background graphics covering the colour change. So what we'll do is we'll upload a new background graphic, and you should be able to see the colour change a little bit easier. And it's frozen. Here we go. All right, so if we go into, and we've got desktop backgrounds. Okay, now upload this, and we upload file. So we're just uploading. So I'll just upload this file, and you should be able to see the background graphic come up. Okay, and what else too? We've got some other questions. I'll answer some. Sorry, Getty, is each palette its own style sheet loaded, or are you pushing individual? I think we're pushing individual CSS color changes by a variable. But this is what I think Glenn and I still have to discuss, of whether that's the right way to do it, or whether it's easier through separate CSS style sheets. And for me as a designer, I think just in the development of it, it's probably easier for me to go into a CSS and change or fix or modify or add to than it is sort of trying to work out through the PHP code where those styles are. So let me go save changes. And I'll change the layout. Oh, that happened a little bit faster. So let's go refresh and see what happens. Oh, there you go. So there's some colour changes now. Now I haven't selected the repeat. So what you can have on the backgrounds to the different areas are repeat patterns or not. So what I'll do is I'll go in and add the other graphics and a few more settings so you can. Okay, so we put it tile to fit area. I'm just going to say single image, stretch the scale to page width. Now at the moment I've got it on a narrow, so you can select here whether you want the whole design to be wide as the screen, or whether you want it to be narrow, whether you want your header wider and your footer wider. So we've given quite a few options, and there's one here called backgrounds wide. So it makes the backgrounds wide but keeps the content within a fixed width, because you don't want long text, line lengths of text, because that's very hard for the users to read. So I'll go in and add another thing we've got happening here as well is the header and footer background graphics. So I'm going to go in and add a new banner. So if we go URL for custom header, the watermark. So this is the background to the banner. We're going to put one in. And it's background, banners, background. So it's good to have all your folders and files organized. I'm going to go upload file. And just a little bit on one of the aspects of that tech team manifesto is that when they say it can't be done, find a way. When we were developing this, I said, Glenn says to me, no, you can't do uploads through the Moodle setting page. It's not possible. And I said, well, if we can't do it, then we scrap the whole project. And so that was motivation enough for him to find a way, because he knew that if we get this theme done, then he won't have to do as much programming in Moodle. He can do some other things, like maybe do some plugins or stuff. So that was one motivation for him. So just going up to the header logos. We're going to upload a header logo on the right. Okay, here we go. The browsing. Here we go. We'll upload the logo. There we go. And we're just going to select all narrow, that's right. Footer background, header background, block options. Now you saw that it was the 3-column layout. What we're going to do, I've got 2 block columns either side. I'm going to put 1 block column on the right. So what will happen is, even if you've got your 3 columns there and you put 1 on the left, 1 on the right, if you select that option, it will flick it all over into the right column. So you don't have to go in and manually do it, and just save changes. We'll see what happens. It's always a bit of an experiment at the moment. Okay, fabulous. Right. Hopefully it should update in a few minutes. All right, so let's just do another refresh. Okay, so the colours you can see have come up. I can just move the screen. Oh, it's still loading. All right, as you can see there. And then we've got, the banner didn't come up because I didn't select what format it needs to be. So let me just do that now. Oops, actually we'll cancel that. What I'll do is, what we can do is, if you've set your design and you've got it looking a certain way, you can override in this area here. You can actually override the settings. So if the administrator has said, okay, this course creator, they can change the banner and they can change the layout, and that's all they can change. It should come up in this panel here from the page. And this is where you can actually select where the overrides happen. So if we go into footer logos, header logos, background colors, whole page layout, we got with tiled graphics. Sorry, I'm just scroll down to the header. Header options, footer logos, background colors. Oh, okay. I didn't select the ability to do that. Okay, bit naughty. Okay, so see here, you've got permissions for course editors to override. So what I would like to do is override header graphics, both left and right. And let's just say, I'm just going to allow all just for the moment. So I'm going to go save. So that will just save, and we'll just go back to this one here. Just cancel out. That refreshes. So it just ceases. It is, you do have to worry, Lauralee, I think, with what the users can do to the site, but that's where the admin will sort of set the permissions. And what we've found is, especially within the institutes, they have set set branding and things like that. So, you know, the only thing, if they're only allowed to change and upload a banner graphic for their faculty or their, you know, there can't be too much damage, you know, and that's something easily you can sort of, you see something you don't like, you say, look guys, this is how we want it to look, or the marketing department gives them a standard one and they just download it from their intranet or something like that. So there are ways to manage those sorts of things. I guess I used to be quite strict and a bit, I used to like to sort of be in control of all of that, but what I've found is it's so time consuming to have to monitor and manage all of it. But if you set things up the right way, that things can easily be modified, but give them also some guidelines on how to do it. People are pretty, you know, good at sort of working with that. So, okay, it's just loading. Everything's slow to load. Okie dokie. Well, anyway, once you upload the graphics, this is what you end up with. So this is something that this is on our test site. So I did a like a test and was playing with it. So this is what happens when you end up uploading your background graphic here. This is your watermark, and this is your logo, and the text will wrap to the logo. And you actually got the options to switch these things on and off. So you can see there's no site title there at the moment. If I went in, I could select the setting, switch on the site title, or switch on the course title, or switch on both. It will do that. And there's placements. So we've got up the top here, there's we call this a utility, so region 1, region 2, region 3, and you can sort of move some of these things around between the regions. Okay, just getting back to, okay, so it's loaded. Oh, it hasn't loaded. Sometimes these things work well, sometimes they don't. Okay, just a little bit of what we've added into in addition to the site, or the Flexi theme, is, I'll just flick to this page. Little extra things we've been putting is we've been creating Dreamweaver templates and embedding the CSS and JavaScript into the theme. So hopefully users, all they need to do is copy and paste the Dreamweaver HTML into their editor. And we found that's been quite flexible for them, for the users, because they can even modify it into the WYSIWYG in Moodle, because they're simple lists and things like that. So you can see we've created this accordion expandable, and I know there's plugins and things like that. I haven't really, we sort of developed this before they did the 2.2 plugin, and we found people enjoy using this one. It's sort of easy to update and maintain. And we've also got tabs. And what's nice about it is this is not a fixed width. So we've also put this into our My Mobile Moodle theme that we've been sort of working on. And oh, you can see there, look, this is a tabbed, widget, and we've just put an embedded iframe cool iris code in there to the Flickr gallery just for a bit of fun. But we've also put in, and I haven't put the images in, but you can see we're sort of developing a gallery grid. So they're instead of using tables, and the reason why we're doing it is because instead of using tables for layout, which is really not good for accessibility, we've been using divs and Dreamweaver templates, so that's made it more accessible. All right, okie dokie. So what we'll do is, I think, just close down this share screen for the moment. And I'll just go back to the presentation. And then Natalie will continue on with some of the information about the Flexi theme as well. So we got here. Okay, so just a little bit on the background and the philosophy, because I think that's really important, is that I think the approach we've taken is the IKEA philosophy in terms of design is keeping it simple, that whole modular design. So when you're thinking about designing and creating and managing your themes, trying to separate out your elements like your CSS, your colors from your layout and things like that. And also what's dynamic, what changes, what doesn't change. So we found, you know, from theme to theme, only the bits that we wanted to continually update and change, like the colors or modify, they're the things that we separated out into the specific style sheets for that particular theme. And also just, you know, having things self-contained, like designing, you know, your little widgets in a style that can be used in a multiple of themes, that you're not restyling and redesigning those elements. Just our team, this is Glenn. So he wants to be the ultimate Moodle rock star. That's his fantasy. When I came up with the idea, he just thought instantly, considering he's so unassuming, the first thing words that came out of his mouth, he goes, oh, I'm going to be famous. So anyway, so that's Glenn. Antonio's has been helping us design the skins. And this is me. This is what I'm hoping this Flexi theme allows me to do. Now we've also got our testers and users who've been really spending, or Natalie especially from North Coast, who's been spending a lot of time helping us out and testing it on real life courses. Because eHub has more collaborative sites, they're not actual real TAFE courses. So there's different requirements for the TAFE courses and for the users. So Natalie's been applying those themes to her courses and seeing how it goes. Now I'm going to just flick you over to Natalie for her to do her talk, and then I'll come in at the end briefly. Okay, Nat, all yours. Are you there, Nat? Okay, I think we might just, if Natalie's in there at the moment. Natalie, can you hear?
Hi, hopefully my microphone's working and you can hear me. I'll just minimise
Okay, looks like Natalie's having trouble getting in.
So I had the opportunity to introduce
Oh, she's there. Okay, great.
at the beginning, so
Alrighty.
know a little bit about my background.
Are you there, Nat? Yep, okay.
Trying to expand this window.
Okay. I'll mute my mic.
My networks are very, very slow from home and it's not being very nice to me. Doesn't want to go. Julian, do you want to step in here? I usually get the side one.
Are you there, Nat?
I think it's...
Okay. Nellie, can you... Yep, you're right.
It's jumping around on the
Sorry, we
screen
can't
an
hear
awful
you.
lot. I'm not doing a lot of clicking, so I think it's a few clicks behind me. Julie, I might get you just to resize it because I think my bandwidth is making this impossible task. Anyway, you can kind
You're
of
there.
see the slides. There's not a lot of information. So our campuses are spread out, and what's different about TAFE is that we're not university teachers or high school teachers. We're usually industry specialists that come along to education. So high-tech web skills don't necessarily come along with plumbing skills and accounting skills. So the type of environment we're working with and that we imagine to be working with over the next few years is an environment where we have a lot of students coming in with tablets and phones, and online work becomes part of face-to-face teaching rather than independent online learning as it has been in the past. Our students are going to have higher skills and expectations of using technology of their teachers. And the conversation that Julian and Laurelie have been having is very appropriate for this, because I actually can see both sides of the story. Being a Gemini, is by 2014 we've got a deadline to meet as far as meeting accessibility guidelines, but how could I possibly tell a teacher that they can't use tables if I don't give them an alternative? And Renee's solutions offer that to us, that we can give people an alternative to display things nicely. So we did try using lots of themes in 1.9. We had 12 different themes, and on the larger sites that slows down the server performance. It also requires a lot of time, and it will result in errors and omissions because you can't possibly keep a track of every tiny CSS change that you make and repeat it 12 times perfectly, because we are only humans at the end of it. So that didn't work. Then a few months ago we tried the Aardvark theme and the Fusion theme, which are two extremes really. And each time that we showed people different themes, we'd get very different reactions, because on the scale you've got some of these teachers who just feel like one of those dogs that's got way too much skin. You give them the theme and they've got way too much power, way too many choices, and they just look at you and ask you what's a link, and you realise that they didn't actually get any of the rest of the conversation. And at the other end of the spectrum, you've got full-time developers who ask you if they can apply their own style sheet. Can I change the layout? Can I have it fluid? Can I have it fixed? And the theme is obviously not going to meet all of their needs. So Renee offered a theme which could be all of these things at once. It can be fluid and fixed. It can have 2 or 3 columns. But it's one theme, not 12 themes, so that appealed to us. As I started speaking to people about these choices, I realised that the concept of a theme is not something that a lot of people automatically get. So can I just ask you all to type into the chat, what would you say a Moodle theme is? What elements of the design are controlled by the theme? So I've got a few ideas there. Can you think of any other aspects of design that are controlled by a Moodle theme? What we're looking at on the screen, the purple picture, there's a background image which is controlled by the theme. The white box in the middle is a certain width, that's controlled by the theme. And what's not controlled is the actual content of which blocks you've got displayed, what topic headings or labels you use, all of your activities and resources, the type of format you use, whether it's weekly or topic. None of those are controlled by the theme. And it helps you to understand just what a theme is to get it through your eyes. When you look at the back end of Moodle, just one theme is likely to take up all of these statistics, 12 scripts, 5 style sheets, a few dozen graphics, and up to thousands of individual CSS styles in order to present a theme the way it looks. And then each one of those has to be tested in every possible Moodle layout. in 5 operating systems, your main browsers, different screen resolutions and different devices. So there's a lot of work that goes into making Moodle look good. If you're thinking of starting a theme from scratch, you just might want to look at how much work is involved in doing that, and picking up a theme that somebody else has made is a lot better choice. So trying to get all these concepts across in a way that people might remember, you could think of the Moodle course itself with the activities and resources as being the most important part of the content. Then you choose a course format to wrap that up in, which is like the box that holds the gift. The Moodle theme is the gift wrapping, it's the pretty look and feel. And then we apply a nice skin over the top that controls the colours and gives it a little bit of variety that isn't actually the theme itself that's more important in controlling layout. So this screen is one I wanted to spend the most time on to talk about how we've implemented the Quicksilver theme so far, which is still in beta, and we've just been working with it to explore what it can do. So these images are just draft images. And you can see the top level course there is where we've put in our institute colours and logo and established fonts and other marketing standards that we need at an institute level. Then we make a course, and as Renee showed, we add a right logo, we added a course banner, we changed the background, and just take a note that number 52 is the business faculty and number 57 is the IT faculty branding. So then we come to make an IT course. There's a little box right at the top that says, would you like to inherit the theme settings? And we type in there 57. So that means get everything from course 57 and apply it to this Moodle course. And then I can continue working through those choices to keep on modifying it if I wanted to add any other details or change something slightly but still keep the institute branding, the faculty branding. So that might be course, say, 112. The next time that I make a course, I could choose 112 and it would cascade the inheritance all the way back up. And we probably will be using this theme to build a whole range of basic courses and then providing people with the numbers to be able to inherit the settings rather than expecting a teacher to sit down and work through the settings page. It'll be something that the full-time developers do and then just let the teachers continue to modify it if they want to, or just let it work as it is without them doing much at all. Our website is not live yet. We're hoping to deliver to students in semester 2, but you're welcome to have a look at our work in progress. There's a temporary theme there at the moment, so it's not the actual one that we've shown you today just yet, but it will be there soon. If there's any other information that you'd like, I'm more than happy to talk to you about it. So I'll hand back to you, Renee.
Thanks, Nat. I'll just flick up. So yeah, if you want to know anything about how Natalie's been implementing the theme, just email her. I'm sure she'll be happy to answer any questions in that nature. If you want to know anything about the theme itself, sorry, I don't know who's, sorry, the expanding the desktop screen, it's a bit funny. Oh, Natalie, you're doing it? Hang on, let me just grab it. It's a little strange. Oh, it's not flicking up. Hang on. Let's just pull it across. I can't get it big. Sorry, guys.
No, I'm not actually. It's a ghost.
I can see it a bit better.
I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I think it's lagging.
Okay. Full screen? There we go. Can we do full screen? Alright, so if you can see, that's it.
I'm glad it wasn't just me that couldn't manage to make a box a little bit bigger.
Okay, it looks like, Natalie, are you positioning it? Thanks. Oh, thanks, that's better. Okay. All right, so if you want to make any comments about the theme or what you think about configurable Moodle theme, with the eHub's been setting up a little designers and developers and online publishers sort of community, and we've got a Facebook page, so if you want to make any comments, we'd love you to make them there for those who are on Facebook. And also, if you want to know anything about the theme at all, or what we've done in terms of the development side, we're happy to sort of answer any questions that you have. So that's my email if you have any questions. And for Natalie, that there's her contact details there as well. So if you want to visit the eCommunities website for TAFE New South Wales, I think you can go to www.ecommunities, or actually, sorry, no www, it's just ecommunities.tafenewsouthwales.edu.au, www.ehubtafenewsouthwales.edu.au. I think I put the W's in the wrong place, but there you go. Yeah, so if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them for you. Okay. And thank you for attending our session.
We're actually open to question and answers for the next 15 minutes. If anybody would like to talk about what their plans for their themes are and pick Renee's brain about possible solutions, or myself, feel free to let us know what you're thinking.
And before everybody disappears, sorry, Julian here, I just want to make sure I say a thank you. A very interesting presentation, and you're certainly pushing the boundaries in regards of what themes can do. And obviously those who know me know that I'm very heavily theme focused. I had to kind of stop myself. I wanted to grab the mic and ask you 101 questions. So Renee, you'll probably regret putting your email address onto that slide, as I'm going to be sending you a whole bunch of information requests and ideas. But obviously on behalf of iMoot, that was an extremely interesting session. Thank you very much for putting some time aside to deliver it for us. And yes, questions, please do throw them in before they disappear.